Hello friends, welcome to Success Seeker. Friends, today in this chapter, that is chapter 3 of Poonam Dalal Dahiya's Ancient and Medieval India book, will cover the Vedic age. Friends, previously I have already completed chapter 1 and 2. You must also watch those videos of my channel. And friends, please subscribe my channel to support me. So, let's start. So, Vedic age time period here it is given 1500 to 500 BC. That is Rig Vedic and Later Vedic age. So here it is written that it is during the after the Harappan culture that we have seen in chapter 2, the Vedic age started to evolve, and it is by the Vedic text we come to know about this information. Also, some archaeological sources are also there. So they were called Indo-Aryans. It's basically a linguistic term, and what does it mean? It is a linguistic term. It refers to the speakers of subgroup of the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European family of languages. And Rig Veda describes them as Arya, a cultural ethnic term. So Arya is a ethnic term derived from Ar, meaning to cultivate. So here different theories are given. The theories regarding when they arrived. तो कब आए थे इंडो एरियंस, तो ये इसके बारे में various historians gave some theories to that. So first theory, that was the European theory. It is given by Sir William Jones in 1786, and he described them as that the Aryans came from the Eurasia, that is from the European country, especially the area north of Black Sea. Central Asian theory given by Max Muller, and he told that they arrived from the Central Asia. Arctic region theory given by Mr. Balgangadhar Tilak, and he describes them, or he described them as the nomads of Arctic region, that is from Arctic region they came. Next theory is Tibetan theory, that is Tibet theory, and it was given by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, and he described them as they arrived from Tibet. Their original home was Tibet. So these are the theories which you must know. I think the theories are very important, and the name who gave the theory. And Indian theory was given by Mr. Sampurnanand and A.C. Das, Sapta Sindhu region. That is, Aryans were indigenous to our country, according to their views. It was also given by Ganganath Jha, Brahmishta Dista is situated. So different theories are here that you must know that from where the Aryans came. Actually, no particular appropriate information is there, but different person gave different theories according to their standpoint. So next is the dominant and mostly accepted view is that instead of Aryan invasion, there was a series of Indo-Aryan immigration. So there was a series, means many of them came as a Indo-Aryans, and they lived in the land of Sapta Sindhu, that is in the Sindhu river, in the banks of Sindhu river. The Sindhu river is the river Indus, and they use horse chariots. They were superior in military technology. The region was drained by 7 rivers. Actually, there was 7 rivers. The Indus and his 5 tributaries, namely the Jhelum, that is Vatista. You must know the ancient name also, the ancient name of the rivers. That is, the Jhelum is Vatista, Bias is Bipasa, and Chenab is Akshini, Ravi is Purushni, and Satlaj is Satudru, and the Saraswati modern day Hakra. So here Ravi is known as Purushuni. Ravi was known as Purushuni. So it also says that the rare mention of river Yamuna, that is Yamuna was mentioned twice and Ganga was already mentioned once. So it implies that they were not inhabitant during the in the banks of these rivers. So they were mainly inhabitants of the river Indus. There was 7 rivers. Next is here the picture or the map is given where you can have a watch Here was it was Gandhara, Vitista, Purushni river, that is Ravi river. Anga was the easternmost boundary of it. Banas, Jamnia, Kakita, Sindhu. So this you can have a watch of the map. One more important information is given here, that is Andronovo culture. Andronovo culture, that is situated in the southern Siberia. So according to some archaeological evidence, it is also found that they might be migrants from Andronovo culture, that is from Siberia. Next is Rigvedic culture, that is during the period of 1500 to 1000 BC, early Vedic civilization. So it was divided in two major parts, that is early Vedic literature or Rigvedic culture, and later Vedic literature or later Vedic culture. So early Vedic was from 1500 to 1000, and later Vedic was from 1000 to 500. That it is in a bifurcation of the total culture. Here it is given. The early Vedic literature, it includes the Rig Veda, Samhita, and other texts of the family. They are called family books, as their composition is attributed to the families of certain seer poets such as Vasumitra, Atri, Grisamada, Vasishtha, and Bharadvaja. And later Vedic or later Vedic literature includes book 1, 8, 9, and 10 of Rig Veda, Samhita, the Samhita of Samaveda, Yajur, and Atharva Veda, and the Brahmanas, Yaranyakas, and Upanishads attached to all the 4 Vedas. So you can see the main parts of the Vedas are given in later Vedic literature or later Vedic cultures. During this time, it denotes in this Vedic cultures. Next is Vedic literature. The word Veda has been derived from the root Vid, which means to know or knowledge. They hold the status of Shruti. That is, what does the word Shruti means? To hear. So from hearing the different Vedas, they transmitted orally from centuries to centuries. Then later it was written down in the 11th century. So there were 4 Vedas, and every Veda generally has 4 parts, that is Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishads. We'll see one by one. Next is the 4 Vedas are Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. So Rig Veda is very important. Rig Veda is a collection of 1028 hymns. So this is very important. How many hymns does it contains? 1028, and divided into 10 mandalas. This is also important. Books is it is book actually. It was there it was called as mandalas. They are the earliest composition, and hence they depict the life of early Vedic people in India. Recently, the Rig Veda has been included in the UNESCO. Rig Veda also was included in the UNESCO World Human Heritage. So earliest mandalas 2 and 8 are called family books. Mandala 6, 7, 8 was related to Kanvas family. Mandala 9 was compilation of Soma Himas. Mandala 1 and 10 are later addition and contains the Purusukta, which explains 4 varnas. This is important. Mandala 1 and 10. It explains the 4 varnas. The priests related to Rig Veda are Kotri or Motri, and the Upoveda of the Rig Veda is Ayurveda. Only surviving recension of the Rig Veda is the Shakala Shaka. So here, out of this, you have to know that it contains 1028 hymns. It has 10 mandalas, and mandala 1 and 10 are. It was later added, and it contains Purushukta, which explains the 4 varnas. Next is Samaveda. So what is Samaveda? Samaveda is a collection of verses, or mostly taken from the Rig Veda, but and in a poetic form. So Samaveda is a poetic form of the Vedas to facilitating singing. So it facilitates singing. From this, it is a poetic form of Vedas, and it helps to sing the Vedas. You can get the lyrics. It is a collection of 1810 melodies. 1810. So 1810 total melodies are there. It contains the famous Dhrupad Raga, later sung by Tansen. So this also you must know. The Upoveda of the Samaveda is the Gandharva Veda. The Samaveda are Kotuma, Jamina, and Rananya. So you must know only this. The Samaveda is it is the poetic form of to facilitate singing. Actually, it is the hymn. It is in a poetic form which helps to singing. This only you can know. Yajur Veda, it is Here it is described. It describes the performance of sacrifices. How the sacrifice will be done. Here it is given in the Yajurveda. So Yajurveda is also divided into Shukla Yajurveda or white Yajurveda. Vajrayasana contains only the mantras, and Krishna Yajurveda or black Yajurveda contains both mantras and the pose. So these two Yajurvedas you must know, Shukla Veda and Krishna. Krishna contains both mantra and pose, and Shukla contains only mantras. Upaveda of Yajurveda is Dhanurveda. This also you must know. Next is Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda is the collection of magic spells and charms. So to ward off the evil spirit and disease. So Atharva Veda is the collection of magic spells. And the Upaveda of Atharva Veda is the Silpa Veda. This you must know. It contains 711 hymns. Next is Brahmanas. The Brahmanas describe the rules for the performance of sacrificial ceremonies. So what the Brahmanas used to do, they used to set the rules how the ceremonies will be done. The most important Brahmana is the Satpatha Brahmana, which is attached to Yajurveda. It recommends 100 sacred paths. Aranyakas, these are also called forest book, important. They deal with mysticism and philosophy and oppose sacrifice. It opposes the rituals of sacrifices. They emphasize meditation and consider to be the concluding portion of the Brahmanas and interprets rituals in the philosophical way. Next is Upanishads. This is important. Upanishads, what does it mean? It means to sit near someone and listen. There are actually 108 Upanishads. This is important, of which 13 are most prominent. The Upanishads dwells on the Atma and Brahman. It deals with Atma and Brahman. The Mandya Parishad, that is Satyam Jayavata, is the largest of all Upanishads. This is very important. So Mundaka Upanishad, or Satyam Jayavata, is the largest of all Upanishads. And Chandogya Upanishads clearly refers to the first three ashramas and discusses types of marriages, mainly two. So in Chandogya Upanishad, it refers to first three ashramas, means three ashramas are there. It is defined in this Upanishad, that is Chandogya, and two marriages also is defined, that is Anuloma marriage and Pratiloma. Anuloma marriage is what? The marriage of a man in which in his own varna or below his varna. So Anulom marriage is means it is everything is right, it is good. By this you can remember, that is marriage is between own varna or between or below his varna, so it is all good. And Pratiloma marriage is the marriage of a girl or woman is a varna lower than her own, deemed rare and not sanctioned by the Vedas. Those which is not sanctioned by Vedas, it is Pratiloma marriage. That is means Pratiloma marriage is the marriage which cannot be accepted during that time. Next is Vedanta. So Vedanta literally signifies end of the Vedas. It is the end of the Vedas, as they reveal the final aim of the Vedas. What is the aim of the Vedas? Here it is defined. Vedanga. What is Vedanga? The word Vedanga means the limbs of the Vedas. So Vedas limbs is Vedanga. Vedas limbs is Vedanga. They are the supplementary text. Do not qualify as Shruti, as they are considered as human origin. Sutra are very short condensed statements that are used to express valid ideas. There are six sutras which are there, that is Siksha, phonetics, Kalpa, that is ritualistic, Jyotish, that is astronomy, Vyakaran, that is grammar, Nirukta, that is etymology, and Chanda, that is metrics. So 6 sutras are there. You have to also remember. What are sutras? Sutras are very short condensed statements. They are used to express various ideas. Next is the Kalpasutra is further divided into Kalpasutra, means among sutra there is Kalpasutra. Kalpasutra is further divided into Saurashtra Sutra, Griha Sutra, and Dharma Sutra. So Dharma Sutra is related to rituals. Saurashtra Sutra is related to concern with Vedic sacrifices, and Griha Sutra is domestic sacrifices. That is crucial life stages where which require only one fire. That is Samsakaras, Upanayana, Vivaha, and Antyesthi. From this you have to only remember that Vedanga means limbs of the Vedas, and sutras are very condensed statements among it, and there are 6 sutras, and Kalpasutras are further divided into 3 Kalpasutras, divided into 3 more categories. Next is Puranas. What is Purana? The word Purana literally means old, means it is very old. They were the religious sacred literature of later times around 4th to 6th century. They reflect the Brahmanical social and religious value and also shed light on the emergence and development of Hindu religious practice. Puranas generally discuss 5 topics in the lifespan of 4 yugas, that is Satya Yoga, Treta, Dwapar and Kali. There are 4 yugas, means Puranas generally discuss 5 topics in the lifespan, means the 5 topics are there which discusses in the Puranas. That is Sarga, deals with the creation of the world. Pratisarga, recreation. Manvantras, Vamsa. So this you can have a watch or look at it once. Next is Vamna Charitra, text relating to royal dynasties, both the Suryavanshis who claim the descendants of the sun and the Chandravanshis who descended of moon. The Puranas are further divided into 18 Mahapuranas. Great Puranas such as Brahma, Vishnu, Narad, Bhagavat, Padma, Garuda, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda, Agni, Bhavana. So among Puranas there are further divided into 18 Mahapuranas. Next is Dharma Shastra. What is Dharma Shastra? It is the Sanskrit text dealing specifically with dharma, that is code of conduct that conceptually signifies a ritualist, righteous moral law. Moksha is the liberation from the cycle of the life and death. Artha, that is material well-being. Kama, sensual pleasure. Purusthas, life goals, and dharma, righteous conducts. All it is given in this Dharma Shastra. The 4 ashramas dividing the life of Dhwaja male were Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Sannyasa is the last, that is complete renunciation. So Brahmacharya is celebrate studenthood. You are in the student phase. Grihastha, that is after marriage, that is household caretaker. Vanaprastha is you have to go to the forest, partial renunciation. And Sannyasa is a complete renunciation. You have to leave everything and go. It should be noted that the different ashram stages were not followed relatively but all, and it was not even applicable to women or Sudras. So it was not applicable to women or Sudras, it was for male only. This you must know. Next is epics. The 2 Sanskrit epics, that is Mahabharata and Ramayana. The main 2 epics which you all know, that the 2 epics were clearly aware that each other Mahabharatas has a section called Ramopakyana. So in Mahabharata there are great, you know that it was the fight between the Kauravas and Pandavas, and how Krishna encouraged Pandavas to fight with the Kauravas for the righteous rule, that is to rule it perfectly. Next is and the Ramana is the story of the Ram. So Mahabharata, it was roughly composed between 400 BC to 400 CE, and Ramayana was composed between 400 BC to 300 CE. So first Mahabharata was composed, then Ramayana. First Ramayana, then Mahabharata. The Mahabharata is said to be composed by Vedic, and it consists of 18 parvas and around 1 lakh verses. And Ramayana was composed by Valmiki. It has 7 khandas. So Mahabharata was composed by Vedvyasa and Ramayana by Valmiki. So next is varied aspect of Rig Vedic culture. So next is varied aspect of Rig Vedic culture. So Rig Vedic culture, what was the political life during that time? Rig Vedic society was tribal society, and Aryan tribes were called Janas. They were called as Janas. Their chiefs were called as Rajans. Was also known as Gopati or Gopa, that is protector of cows. So these names are very important. You must know this. And the chief queen was also called Mahishi. The Janas often had conflict with Panis, which used to hide the cattle of Aryans in the forest and were thus deemed the enemies of Aryans. So mainly the fight was between them due to cow due to cattle. The Vedic god Indra was invoked, and many battles known as Gavisti, Gaveshana, Gaviat to search for cow was fought between the Aryans and the Panis. So, fight was between Aryans and Panis for cows. Next is certain aspect related to political and administration during that time. The society's political structure was somewhat similar to the monarchical form. So, it was somewhat similar to monarchical form. That is almost like a king they used to rule. But the Gopati's office was not hereditary. But the king was not hereditary. This is very important. And he was selected from among the clansmen and was perhaps elected by the assembly called Samiti. So he was elected, and it was not hereditary. It was elected by the assembly called Samiti. Some important tribal assemblies of the period were Sabha, smaller body meant for elites; Samiti, broad-based flock assembly presided over by Rajan; Vidhata, that is tribal assembly with diverse functions; Gana, that is assembly or troops. So this term you must know. Some of the important functionaries of the Rigvedic societies. What was the who were the main functionaries? That is Purohit, he was the priest; Senani, he was the chief of army; Gramini, he was the leader of the village and fighting units; Brajapati is the officer who controlled the territory. And the contribution was called as Bali. That is, Bali was given to the king as a tax by the people. Next is Vedic society was militaristic, and military technique was much advanced, as they used chariots driven by horses. They used arrows, bows. Aryans was engaged in two types of battles, that is with pre-Aryans, probably referred to them as dasas, and among themselves. So themselves also they used to do war or battle. Battle occurred between Bharata king Divosa and Dasa. This is very important or famous battle during that time. Battle of 10 king was also there. Dasajanas was between Bharata chief Sudas, grandson of Siboda, Divosa on one side, and the 10 other tribes, including the famous 5 tribes, Panchajana. So this famous battles was fought during that time also. Social life. What was the social life of Rigvedic Aryans? Social unit was based on brotherhood. Kula, that is family, was basic social unit, and Kulapa was the head of the family. So family's head was known as Kulapa, and Kula was the family. Largely there was joint families in the Rigvedic age, and which followed the patrilineal system. That is, male was the boss or the head of the family, and it was patrilineal. The family was a part of larger group called as V's or clan. One or more than one clan made Jana a tribe. Certain aspects related to Rigvedic society. The society was patriarchal in nature, as though the women had important position in the society, but since they were educated and had access to assembly, they had access to education, and they could also go to assembly. But later on, women's their status got deteriorated in the later Vedic age. They composed hymns and received upanas. Women attend the meetings of Vidata. There were no instance of child marriage. No child marriage was there. No sati, no parda, no widow remarriage. So this was, the society was quite similar to nowadays. You can probably correlate with that. The society was not divided on caste. So caste was not there. And occupation was not based on birth. By birth only occupation will be given to you. It was not there. Everyone, be it the rajas, the purohits, or the artisans, was part of clan networks, and the members of the family could adopt different occupations. They would have the option or choice to adopt the occupation. However, certain differences did exist during the period. Varna or color was the basis of initial differentiation between the Vedic and the non-Vedic people. So color, Varna or the color, was the basis of differentiation. Even though a socially organized Varna system was not prevalent and tribal elements were stronger in the society, yet Rigvedic society can still not be considered a totally egalitarian society, as social stratification was based on division of labor. So division of labor was there among, and gender was also there. It was not totally egalitarian society. This is also very important. If it in the question, if it asks that the Vedic age was, or the Rig Vedic age was totally egalitarian society? No, it was not. It was divided on the basis of division of labor. The only mention of 4 Varnas was found in Purushukta of the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, probably introduced at the end of the Rig Vedic age. Absence of strict social hierarchy. However, the Rig Vedic people were familiar with slavery, so slavery was also there. The Rig Vedic economy. What was the economy? Since the Rig Vedic society was pastoral society, cattle rearing was their dominant activity. The chief measure of wealth was cattle, and wealthy man was known as Gomat. They were known as Gomat, one who owned many cattle. A large number of words are derived from the word Gao. No concept of private property was there based on land ownership. Evidence of trade and commerce is very small. No concept of private property. Next is the unit of currency was called Nishka, which was made of gold. So unit of currency was gold, and it was called as Niksha. Butter was the model of exchange, and the cow was an important unit of value. There was no regular revenue system, and the kingdom was maintained by the voluntary tribe Bali. Bali was the it was the tax you have to pay, Bali. And cow was the used in the barter system. Gift exchange and redistribution had an important economic role in the Rig Vedic society. Such exchange is known as prestation. Shifting agriculture was practiced. Apart from Yava or barley was known as Yava, very important. No other grains is mentioned, so barley was only mentioned in this Rig Vedic age. The field was known as Kshetra. The Rig Vedic people used wooden plough, Phala, Langa and Sira. Vedic god Indra is also described as Urvajit, that is winner of fertile field, and there are also reference of Kshetrapati. The term Ayas in the Rig Vedic refers to copper and bronze and not iron. So not iron was there. Thus they did not use iron technology. No iron technology was used. A lot of other crafts such as cart making, carpentry, tanning was there. Chariot makers enjoyed a special status. For transport, bullock carts was used. So next is Rig Vedic religion. There was neither temple nor idol worship in the early Vedic age. The Rig Vedic reflects naturalistic polytheism, that is similar to primitive animism. That is, they used to worship like wind, rain, water. Animism was there. Tree, open air through yajnas. Vedic texts refer to meat eating and also sacrificing, killing of animals, except the cow. Cow was not eaten or not sacrificed, which was considered agya, not to be killed. Peculiar case of henotheism or cathenotheism is found in Rig Vedic religion, wherein the deity being invoked in a particular hymn is considered the supreme god. Next important thing is the god. Who were there? Indra was the greatest god of the Aryans. He was called Purandar, or breaker of fords. Agni was the second most important god. Varuna was third most important god, the god of personified water, looked after Rita or the cosmic order. Soma, god of plant. Yama, lord of death, that is Yamraj. Rudra, that is Mahadev, immoral archer god whose arrow brought disease. Pushans, the god of jungle path. Surya, son of Dayasus, who drives away darkness and spread lights. Savitri, solar deity to whom the famous Gayatri mantra is attributed to the third mandala of the Rig Veda. Savitri, important. Aditi, goddess of eternity and the mother of God. Prithivi, earth goddess. Vishnu, benevolent god. Marut, the sons of Rudra who personify storms. Vayu, god of wind. Ashwins, the twin god of war and fertility. Usha, goddess of dawn. Sinivali, bestow children. So these are the important gods. Apart from the above mentioned god, there is a mention of some demigods, such as Gandharvas, divine musicians, Apasaras, mistresses of god, Viswadevas, intermediate deities, and Aryamans, guardian of compact and marriages. Next is, what are the terms used in Rig Vedic age? Godhuli, measure of time. Gavyuti, measure of distance. Duhitri, daughter who milk cows. Gotra, kingship unit. Vish, clan, people in Gana, that is lineage. Grama, village. Gauri, buffalo. Gojit, winner of cow. Bhap to sow, Srini to sickle, Kshetra cultivated field, Urvara fertile fields, important Urvara, Dhania cereals, uh, Ghrita butter, Soma intoxicating drinks, Gogna guest, Sita furrow created by ploughing, Siri yarn, Taksan that is carpenter. So this was all for Vedic culture, that is Rig Vedic culture. Next is later Vedic culture. This was around 1000 to 500 BC. What was the development, or what was changing in all the aspects? Now we will see. So we'll see what is the political life of later Vedic age. The term Rashtra first appeared in this period. Very important. The term Rashtra, that is nation or state, appeared in this period first. The war was no longer fought for cows, but it was fought for territories. The chief grew at the expense of tribal peasantry and handsomely rewarded the Purohit. Purohit was rewarded. Now we'll see. In northern regions he was known as the Virat. In eastern regions he was means the king. How it was addressed or name, how it got changed in different regions. In northern regions it was he was called as Virat. In eastern regions he was called as Swarath. In western region, in eastern region it was called as Samrat, Middle Raja, and in south Bhoja. So these are the same name of king, but different name of king in different regions. Certain aspects related to political and administration. The king was usually Kshatriya. Kshatriya was the king, and the office of the monarch was made almost hereditary. So before that we saw that it was not hereditary in Vedic age, but in later Vedic age it was becoming hereditary. So this is the change. Next is the king influence was further strengthened by ritual enactments such as Rajasuya, which was the royal supreme power. To show supreme power, king used to do sacrifice. That the name was Rajasuya. And Bajapaya, literally meaning drink of strength. It has chariot race in which royal chariot was made to win almost all kingsmen. So different rituals were there of the king to show their power. Ashwamedha, what was that? Unquestioned control over the area in which royal horse can run uninterrupted. Means horse used to run the area. In the area which the horse used to run, the area was totally under the. It became under the king. That king who used to send the horse. So this was the rituals. As the chief became more powerful, the authority of the popular assembly started warning. Sabha and Samiti continued to hold ground. Sabha and Samiti was also there, but the Vidhata completely disappeared. There was no Vidhata. Next is, it should be noted that in later Vedic times, the king did not possess a standing army, and tribal units were mastered in times of war. So no standing army was there. Next is social life. What was the social life? The later Vedic family became large enough to be, so joint family was there with 3 or more generations living together. The row of huts discovered at Atran Jekhara and Ahichatra, both in western UP. Certain aspects related to later Vedic society. What was that? So in the family, a patrimonial authority of father system developed, and women were generally confined to household chores. Women lost importance in the society, very important. Now the women lost their importance. Sati was also prevailing, child marriage was also there. So assemblies were then dominated by nobles and influenced men, and women were no longer permitted to attend assemblies. Next is the later Vedic society was clearly divided into 4 varnas: Brahmanas, Rajanayas or Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So here the first time the 4 varna system started. Another important institution that began to take shape are ashramas, or different stages of life. So ashramas also started, that is 4 different stages of life. Next is the upper 3 classes known as Dvija, discriminated against both Sudras and Chandalas. So Sudras and Chandalas were discriminated here. The institution of Gotra appeared in the later Vedic culture. Literally, it means cow, cow pen, or the place where cattle belonging to whole clan are kept. But in course of time, it meant descent for the common ancestor. Caste exogamy were extensively practiced and rigid social hierarchy developed. Interesting, certain craft groups managed to attain higher status. For example, the Rathakaras, the chariot makers, had the right to wear the sacred thread. So these were the changes that brought about in the later Vedic age. So caste hierarchy was there, started to evolve. That is, hierarchy, Brahman was the highest, he was the priest. Next was Kshatriyas, warriors and rulers. They were warriors and rulers. Next was Vaishyas, that was, they were skilled traders, merchants and minor officials. Next was Sudras, they were unskilled workers. And next was Parayas or Harijans, they were untouchables or children of God. So caste hierarchy started very predominantly here. Later Vedic economy, what was the economy there? Agriculture was there, pastoralism, craft production, they started. Agriculture, predominantly pastoral society of early Vedic times had become agricultural. Mixed farming started. Certain aspect led to later Vedic economy. Land was still communally owned, over which the Vish had many participatory rights, but it was recognized as the property, and the head of the household who owned the land was Grahapati. So Grahapati was the head of the households. Rice was known as Bihi, very important, and wheat was known as Guduma. This started as a staple food of the people. In prehistoric, pre-Vedic period, there was only barley, and here rice and wheat also started. The item of dana and dakshina, including cooked rice, also started. The society became largely rural. However, towards the end of the period, there were traces at the beginning of urbanism. The main factor in the expansion of Aryan culture later, during the later Vedic period, was beginning of the use of iron. Iron also started. Later Vedic culture is also known as PGW, iron face culture, very important. Tin, lead, silver, iron, gold, bronze, copper was known to later Vedic period. Shrestins indicate the guild or organizations of merchants. Exchange was still via barter, but niksha was used as convenient unit of value. Niksha was gold coins. Unlike the Rigvedic age, where only voluntary offerings were taken, as per no revenue collection was there. In the later Vedic year, collection of taxes was mandatory. It became mandatory, and were done by Sanghitri. He was responsible for collecting taxes. Very important name. It is equally interesting to note that Vaishyas appeared to be the only tribute prayer in the later Vedic times. Later Vedic period was accounted with 4 types of pottery: painted grey ware, black and red ware, black striped ware, red ware. So pottery, you can see picture. Religion, what was the religion there? Indra, Agni lost their importance, and instead of them, Prajapati, the creator, became supreme. Some of the other minor gods became from, such as Vishnu, constitute the protector of the people. Rudra, the god of animal, they became important. Pushans, who was supposed to look after cattle, came to be regarded as the god of Sudras. Pushans was the god of Sudras. The later Vedic culture was focused on the centrality of the cult of sacrifices. Sacrifices started very increasingly. Changing society, the yajnas brought to them a large number of wealth in the form of danas and dakshinas. Important yajnas were Asmaveda, Vajaveda, Rajas. We have seen them previously. Next was comparative. Next is here the comparative analysis is given here. This table you must have a glance of it. Time period is Rigvedic 1500 to 1000. We have seen 1000 to 500. Area also we have seen Afghanistan, Punjab, Western UP, and here it is Indo-Gangetic. Political sphere, Rajan was non-hereditary. Here hereditary kingship started. The war was primarily fought for cattle. Here for territories. Tribal assemblies were there. In later stage, it was slowly turning into Janapadas. Tribal assemblies lost their privileges. No taxation system was there. Here the taxation started, and Sanghiti was the main person to collect taxes. Social sphere, society was simple and largely egalitarian, not divided on caste line. Here the caste line started. 4 varnas started. Absence of social mobility. Women enjoyed equal rights. Here the rights started decline. Women received education. Education restricted. Child marriage sati system exist. Here did not exist. Here exist. Prevalence of widow marriage. Widow marriage was not allowed. Widows were not allowed to remarry. Here, remarriage was there. So the difference here, it is given in one table only. You can have a, this is very important. Mainly pastoral economy, barley was there. Agriculture became chief occupation. Cattle was chief measure. Cattle lost its importance. No knowledge of iron. Here iron was there. There was neither temple nor idol worship. Idol and temple worship was there. Agni, Varun, Indra was there. Agni and Indra lost his importance. Here Rudra, Prajapati, Vishnu came to power, or supreme leader. Rituals and sacrifices were not significant. Here it became significant. Key concept, here it is given, and the source. Gotra in Atharva Veda. From Atharva Veda we get Gotra. Purushukta hymns from Rig Veda 10th mandala. First 3 ashramas, Chandogya Upanishads. 4 ashramas, Jabala Upanishads. Samsara, Sabha and Samiti from Atharva Veda. Satyamaya Jayata, this is important, from Mundanika Upanishads. Trimurti, Matrayani, mention of great flood, these are not so important. Origin of universe, Rig Veda. So we have completed this chapter. Hope you have got the benefit. So we have completed with chapter 3. Very soon I will be uploading chapter 4 also. So kindly subscribe my channel to support me. Thank you.